Shalom, Mishpacha. Hello, friends. Welcome to a small sanctuary, and I'm just recording a real quick Hanukkah recap video just to talk a little bit about what went well, what could be improved, and what I might do next year or in future years. Of course, you can revisit the Hanukkah video that I did about this year's Hanukkah. I will leave it in the links below. Number 1, decor. In general, I was really happy with my decor this year and it worked great. I don't think I will be adding all that much. I did pick up some beautiful new snowflake ornaments on sale from 10,000 Villages, and I will be putting those up next year as well. But I am noticing that building a collection is really starting to pay off for me. Number 2, food. This Hanukkah was a big win in terms of food this year. I did loads of new things and I kept myself busy in the kitchen. It did come at the detriment of some of my other engagements that I had planned for Hanukkah, but I really did up my sufganiyot game. My biggest win this year was the sufganiyot. I decided to go for Israeli style luxury sufganiyot filled with homemade pastry cream and topped with chocolate ganache and sprinkles, and it worked great. It's not that much more work and the effects were really stunning, and this could be folded into a fancy Hanukkah afternoon tea as well. I also made meringues. The meringues were a byproduct from the pastry cream. So you make the pastry cream from the egg yolks and the meringues from the egg whites, so that worked really nicely. I made latkes in schmaltz this year, which was delicious. Not great for vegans or vegetarians, I admit, but delicious nonetheless. And it really upped the flavor profile of my latkes, since I was going to have them with a meat meal anyway. My classic fried chicken returned as always, and of course the afternoon tea, which was a real success. Each year it keeps on getting a little bit better. I also made sweet potato latkes, which was the first time, and they were surprisingly tasty. I did notice that it was a little harder to get them going because sweet potato is quite a bit harder than normal potato, because sweet potato isn't even a potato, it's a yam. But with a little more patience and forethought, they did turn out very tasty, and I added a little curry powder to the batter, and that just kicked them up a notch. Number 3, Hanukkah activities. Hanukkah crafts. Gifting crafts was a great success. It really allowed my family to get into the spirit of things, and tabletop games, as my children are starting to get older, are really successful as well. And a dear friend of ours gave us Carcassonne, a tabletop game, and we had a great time with that, and it doubles as a gift and an activity. Of course, our dreidel game with the updated speed dreidel rules. My husband and I really like those rules, but my kids, interestingly enough, really like the classic old school rules, and they didn't want to play the new rules. That's okay, we'll try again next year. The values that I talked about in one of my previous videos with the little notes in the pockets of my Hanukkah garland were a big hit. Much bigger than I expected. It was fantastic. So I actually forgot to print one off by accident on the 7th day, and my children, even after Hanukkah, kept on reminding me, Mama, we have to do the 7th day and the 8th day. So they kept me on the ball, and it was really great. They enjoyed reading them out. They enjoyed talking about them. Granted, I think the fact that we study text as a family regularly helps. It helps them with the concept of studying text and answering questions, but they really loved it, and they loved getting the cards out of the pockets. So definitely give that a try, because kids are much more open to learning than we might sometimes give them credit for. Number 4, gifts. The overarching success with my gifts this year is that none of them were screen-based and only one was electronic. And I am so proud of that. nothing wrong with screens and electronics. There's a time and place for everything. But I'm really proud that I was able to order everything that was kind of low-key, vintage, old-fashioned and creative, and I'm really happy with that. And the kids really didn't seem to mind. So the only electronic gift I had was just lights and sounds. For the rest, all of the gifts were acoustic, and they were very much loved. The books were a success. My son has already made a challah recipe from Rochi Pinson's book, and I was very happy with the gifts I got. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, my love language is gifting, and I also really like getting gifts. I also got a Spode Blue Italian travel mug, some other things that I was really happy with. And I gave a friend of mine the Jewish Joy journal, and she loved it. Like I do every year, I build momentum for the bigger gifts by starting small on the first few days and progressing the type of gift upwards, so to say, to really culminate in multiple larger or slightly nicer gifts on the 8th day, which is our big going out with a bang night of Hanukkah. Now, normally this leads to a little bit of mismanaged expectations on the part of my kids. They keep on anticipating the 8th night and talking about the 8th night, and I've been thinking about how I should manage this. I know other families get the big gifts out of the way on the first night, and that's that. They're good to go. I thought about reversing it, but there are certain cultural and personal reasons why I really like doing it on the 8th night. I received a tip about managing expectations by hinting the type of gift each night would bring, and I recorded it on the sheet from With Love from Ima. I will share her in the comments below as well. I printed out her sheet with activities and menu planning, and each night I would hint at the type of gift, not the gift what it actually was, but kind of the genre of the gifts. Craft gifts, a cozy gift, a wearable gift. And you know, of course, correlation isn't causation. It might be that my kids are just maturing, but they were a lot calmer this year. It takes away some of that anxiety of the anticipation. Of course, you get a guessing game. That's inevitable, but that's okay. I kept stum. I didn't say a word, but that was really, really helpful for me. Number 5, hospitality. This was the Hanukkah of hospitality. I really went out on hospitality. We had a friend stay with us for a week, which was lovely, and we had multiple sets of friends spend time with us, and it was just really perfect, and I really enjoyed hosting, and that tied in with the food as well. And probably also because it coincided with Christmas and the bomb cyclone, I had a little more time to dedicate to hosting and food prep, and it was just great. There's definitely a perk to hosting for a minor festival like Hanukkah and just having full latitude in terms of your observance. 6 things that we didn't do. All of the previous comments were about the things that worked great, that we pulled off, but there were also some things we didn't do. We didn't really do tzedakah enough this year, and I think I'm going to move that to Purim. I don't want to translate tzedakah as charity. That feels wrong. Let's say tzedakah, or tzedakah if you want to use Israeli pronunciation. Tzedakah is kind of righteous, redistributive giving. That's how I would define it, but it really meshes well with Purim. And I've been playing with this idea in my head that Purim, it's actually a mitzvah for Purim to give gifts to each other and to give matanot le'evyonim, to give gifts to the poor. Of course, our big tzedakah moment is Rosh Hashanah, for sure. We didn't do movie nights or Lord of the Rings, and we didn't do Hanukkah cookies or the Hanukkah gingerbread Beit HaMikdash. Wah, wah, wah. It didn't make it this year, folks. The Hanukkah cookies, I guess, were displaced by the Sufganiyot extravaganza. And the gingerbread house, I did make the gingerbread, but there was something about the texture. It was too wet, and I wasn't having any luck making anything else but cookies out of it. But that's okay. I can always bring it back next year. Number 7, last but not least, some improvements. I need to learn to cook less and order out more. We did have sushi on the second night of Hanukkah, and that was really lovely, and it was a fun little treat for the kids. And I think I need to balance between spending a lot of my energy on the Hanukkah specific recipes that we all love and cherish, but also allowing myself to get a break from the cooking and just have takeout for other things. Did I really need to make a homemade pizza, which isn't particularly Hanukkah themed, but something that makes my kids happy? Probably not. So I might want to rethink that in the future, how I balance between all the food prep heavy activities and cut myself slack in other regards as much as possible. I would still like to give a children's party. We didn't really do that this year, and it's probably because my kids have a lot of non-Jewish friends and it coincided with Christmas and the bomb cyclone, but I definitely want to make Hanukkah a party time for them. Rosh Hashanah, Pesach, those are really serious, meaningful religious festivals in my family. Hanukkah, let's just get crazy and silly. And I would love to give a party for grown-ups too. Why not? I hope this little review video was helpful. I needed to get it out of my system so I wouldn't forget what worked and what didn't work. And I'm going to give you a sneak preview. Tu B'Shvat is coming. And what am I going to do this year for Tu B'Shvat? Well, friends, stay tuned, because I am going to go vegan for Shevat. Some of you may know I don't know how to say this. Veganuary? Veganuary. Vegan January. Veganuary. Help me out here, internet. Anyway, I'm not doing Veganuary. I'm doing Vegan Shevat. It's perfect for Tu B'Shvat, the new year of trees and growing things and green things. And so follow me along for that. I've got some great cookbooks. I've got some great ideas. And this will also seg into a new feature that I hope to do on keeping kosher, kashrut. What does it mean to sit at our sacred tables as Jews or Jew curious or Jew adjacent people and think intentionally about our food choices? A series on the sacred table and veganism will be coming up shortly for Shevat. Expect some of those things to be launched before Rosh Chodesh, Shevat, the new moon of Shevat, the month of Shevat. And I look forward to taking you along for that journey as well. If you are vegan or vegetarian, leave your comments down below. If you want to join, leave a comment down below. Leave some encouragement. Leave some encouragement down below and say, go team vegan. Go team vegan. I am not a vegan, so it will be a very interesting journey, but I'll talk more about that another time. 1 month of veganism, let's do it. It will be beautiful and ethical and a good excuse to learn some new recipes and look at my food consumption in fresh, new ways. Thank you for being with me today, and shalom uvracha, peace and blessings from my bite to your bite. Bye.